morning and welcome to Dualitea. I am your host, Ash, and I'm here with a very special guest. Welcome, Ava.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
It's
getting here.
Yeah. You've been trying to get me on this thing for how long?
Since it started, pretty much.
Yeah.
99 episodes or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm here.
By all odds. And, you know, it's interesting, like, shout out to everybody who has the patience and grace with me. I know it's been like a month and a half since I did my last episode. And once again, just like I say every time I go on my rogue absences, it's, life was lifing. And, that kind of has to take priority naturally in my world. So when it felt right to, like, come back in, and I also just, like, really was praying about it. Like, this is my 99th episode. It's about to be 100 episodes. Like, you know, I was trying not to be existential about it and, like, perfectionistic and, like, kind of, but at the same token, it's also one of the last grants that, one of the last episodes that's sponsored by the grant.
I know.
And I was like, yo, like, if it's anybody I really want to have on, it's you. Like, you know, I just want to start off with giving you your flowers. So
yeah,
I'm just
I know, I get it. And I just feel bad it took me so long.
Oh, yeah, but don't feel bad, girl. You're out here momming and having a whole business and being a whole partner, a whole wife. Like, there's so many things that you're doing, you know?
I know.
It's like, it's completely okay. And, you know, I wanted to start this podcast off with just giving you your flowers. Like, what I felt it was so important. I was just saying it to a friend of mine the other day. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm having Ava on. I'm really happy. I'm like, because, like, if it's anybody that should be on my double digits, it's you. Like, the amount of support and things that you've just shown me throughout the years, like, it's only right that I just, like, give that back, you know? And I just felt it was the perfect opportunity to. So shout out to my sister and for everybody else that's given help to make this possible.
Yes.
But, yeah, so thank you, you know, for not only being here, but for all the things.
Yeah, Ash, you contribute so much. My kids are obsessed with you.
I love these.
And you do so much with Ava Quinn. It's like you help me so much. So it's an even. I just want to help you, and you help me.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, like, even like physically, I'm wearing a shirt that Ava got me. I'm wearing a hat that Ava got me. You know, like, I mean, well, gave to me, and like, I was just like, while I was getting ready this morning, I was just like, you know, I just want to utilize what I have. And it's like something about, like, our relationship. I feel like it's like just utilizing the things that we give each other. And I felt that when I was getting dressed today. And I was just like, oh, that's so sentimental. I'm like, not me, like, about to have tears for breakfast. Like, you know, and, you know, this stuff is important. So, like, and the reason why I bring all that up, especially in the beginning of the episode, is just because, like, this is the end of an era and a beginning of another. And in more ways than one, like, I feel like my podcast is very symbolic of where I go in my life and, like, the different things that happen. Like, I remember around the 50th episode, I was like, oh, I should probably tell you guys about me, right? Like, I've never really told you guys about me. Like, I have throughout the podcast, but I've never, like, given an episode of, like, me.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, oh, I should probably do that 50th episode, you know? And, like, yeah, so being present with the 99th, it's just like, look at how far we've come.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I mean, I think, how long have I known you now? I remember when your sister,
like 6
I remember
years.
when I went to meet up with your sister to drop off a package.
Maybe 7 years.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than that.
I think it's
8,
Mabel's
7?
going to be 9.
Yeah, she was like 1, so it might be 8 years.
Yeah.
Because then I officially started working with you, I think, like 7 years ago. Like, with, like, making the soaps and stuff. Like, I think that I met you. And
I just remember meeting up with your sister, and she was like, you know, my sister Ashley would be, like, so into that. She loves essential oils. And I'm like, yeah, like, I need help. So, like, if your sister knows that stuff, like, let's do it. That's all I remember, but I don't remember how long ago that was. But I know that I had Mabel. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she was, like, just, like, starting a...
Little Mabe.
Little Mabe.
Mabel. She's so big and like a teenager now.
She really is. It's so wild. It's like, you grow up and you get to realize like the cliche that all of the adults were saying are like so valid. They grow up so fast, all these different things, and you're just like, yeah, whatever. And then you become the older person. You're like, oh my.
Yeah. I used to hate when people would tell me, like, just you'll understand when you're older.
Mm-hmm.
And now I say that to
all
her constantly. I'm like, you'll get it. I
try to word it in a different way because I understand how much resistance that statement brings.
Yeah.
But, I'm constantly saying that to people younger than me because it's very true. It's just the longer you're on earth, especially if you're just like actively doing this self-seeking work, and then the longer you're on earth, the more time you just have, even if you're avoiding it, you just have more time to see what's happening around you.
Yep.
It's just,
they don't understand that.
Yeah, they will one day. They'll remember this. Be like, oh, remember
just
on that
right
podcast, But yeah, like I felt like it was so important to have you, especially on the episode of like reflecting, looking back at like, look at how far we've come, look at how far you've come, look how far I've come. Like, even everybody listened to it. Like, I feel like it's interesting in that way where it's like, if you're tuning into this episode, whenever you tune into it, you're probably in a season of a similar energy as far as like looking how far you came, looking at all the things you've done, and getting ready to step into something new. And yeah, like that doesn't always happen. And I know both of us are infamous for just keeping on looking that way and not necessarily being like, wait, look at all the work that we've done for so long. Like,
yeah, but we both actually keep each other motivated. Like when you're down, I'm like, Ash, get your butt here and like do what you have to do. And then you'll do the same to me. Like, listen, I'll come and I'll help you with, the baby, and you got to get stuff done. So without you and without my mother-in-law, like I would be lost. Like I would be lost.
All the right people come into our lives at the right time, and it's like, really, I mean, like my own company like exists because of you, like at the time that it does, in the way that it does, like, because I know you're gonna be like, no, like,
no,
it
has
did
nothing to do with
That's
me. I'm just
nothing
like, here, Ash, you come here all the time. I have room. Like, put your stuff here, sell it. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, but it's like I always express when I talk about you, I'm like, you have put the batteries in my back so seriously when it comes to this stuff.
It's because I know you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know you can do it, and you stop yourself, and you'll stop yourself, and you'll be like, no, let me help you. No.
Yeah, do
make
both.
Make your yoni steams. Tell her, everyone, to make her freaking yoni steams. Her candles. Get on it.
Yeah, I do it again when I can.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like,
I know. It's hard.
But it's like making more space for that too, and just like definitely I feel like I wouldn't be as encouraged to put stuff out there in that way if it wasn't for you, with the spaces and just our creative process. Like ever since we met each other, we've just like,
always
as soon as we're like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I've never worked better with anybody.
No.
And like one of the biggest things that I think was such a thing that I mentioned often about you, behind your back in a good way, is like, when you're in the same industry as somebody or you're doing something similar to somebody, it's so rare to have someone just encourage you for what you do. Yeah. And I think that like you just deserve respect and acknowledgement for that, like from the beginning when you realize like, oh, we do similar things, but you have this way about doing it. And like, I love that. And you should like explore more into that. And I'm like, so kind of like used to being in
someone like taking over what you do,
taking from me what I do, or also like minimizing me in what I do so that I don't put things out there. That's the experiences I've had in a lot of times with working with similar things, which is most people's experience.
Definitely. I've had that experience. I mean, before Ava Quinn's, there was Love Nicks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if I want to get into all that, but, I had someone who was very supportive and she was trying to help me kind of break out of this, like, stay-at-home mom mold because I went from literally working at Journeys, what, 8, literally, I remember clocking out and it was 78 hours every week. I remember literally hitting clock out at the end of the week and it said 78 hours every week. So when people would tell me they were working 40 hours, I'm like, that's a fucking vacation. What are you talking? Like, I used to get off 1 day a week, if that.
Yeah, big Virgo things.
Yeah. I loved my job, though. I really did. I did love my job. But anyway, then I ended up having Mabel, and I went from literally having a staff of like 15 people, like running stores, to being a stay-at-home mom, which is the most crazy thing. It was crazy for me. It was like I wanted to do stuff, and being so creative, I had a hard time. So there was this, at the time, my ex-husband's friend, she was there and she wanted to help. So she introduced me to wool. Whatever. Long story short, she kind of like helped me, but then tried to take over because she was getting mad that I was doing things a certain way. And as a Virgo, you know, I want to do things a specific way. And that just became a whole big mess. But I understand what you're saying. I always told myself, don't work with friends, don't work with family. For me, you in the beginning were like almost like an employee. Like, okay, she's going to help me out. Like, I'm going to teach her. She's going to teach me. She knows about essential oils. And what it became between me and you is like so much more like your family. Like that's, I tell people all the time, that's Ashley. She's family. You need to talk to her. Like, you talk to her. You're so much more than.
Yeah, make me cry on here.
But you are. Like, first your sister's like, oh, she could help you. And I didn't know who the hell you were. You come into my house. You're like this little thing, like trying to learn soap. And I'm just like, here you go. This is like, how you learn it.
You just lie? I'm like, is it going to burn your flesh?
I'm like, it might burn you, but wear gloves. I had no insurance at that time. And I'm like teaching you. Oh my God, what a mess.
Allegedly.
Yeah. I have insurance now, but you know, I'm a whole LLC now. It's Ava Quinn's LLC now.
Look how far you've come.
Yeah, seriously. It's been so long. Yeah, but
yeah, it's like, it's interesting because it's like I've felt that shift too. You know, like I've noticed that.
You were there from the beginning. You were there for Love Nicks LLC. That then it became.
It was
DBA.
just like you. I think you just. No, you might have still actually been Love Nicks.
I was still Love Nicks up until I was Love Nicks LLC, and then I had the DBA Ava Quinn's in New York, and then I had to dissolve the business when I moved to Jersey because I'm in Jersey and I had my residence in Jersey. So then it just became straight Ava Quinn's LLC. So no, you were there for the whole thing, the change of the logos, like the madness, the moving. You were there for everything. And then I remember like things that I was going through, you were like going through similar things at the times, and we were like, wow, this is crazy.
This is trippy.
I would call you and I'd be like, this is what's going on. You'd be like, yo, I just like, that just happened to me 2 days ago. And I'm like, what the hell? All the time that was really happening.
It was like, I remember calling you. I remember when I was making it at my house, and I would be like, it was always lavender spearmint. And I was like, I only made one hot batch. That was the coffee at that time. The hot process.
Hot process in the crock pot.
In the crock pot, yes. And then like I remember making the lavender spearmint, and I would call you and be like, wait, it's lye into the water, right? Not water into the lye. Like just like little things.
And I would be like, why do you always call me for this same question?
I was so scared of the lye.
Water, just so everybody knows, you never put water on top of the lye.
You just think of it like lying into water.
Yeah. The like, lye goes in the water, not reversed. I'm like she's gonna. Her house is gonna be like gonna explode.
That's what I was afraid of. Yeah. So I was like, let me just like quadruple check.
Those were the little batches, right?
They were.
Remember that? Remember we went from like the little batches to the big batches, and I'm like, no, Ash, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do like a 15.
And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Because when going from like 12,
it was like 10 bars, 10 bars
to 50.
Like, it's a little over
really
50.
More, yeah.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
I'm like, no, we're gonna do this. I got the SoCal, like we're doing it.
Now we're flipping these 40-pound big pots of like.
Yeah, but now when we do the small batches, they're like, no.
It's
like, what is this?
It's so weird to do a small batch. Like the only time it's like, oh, okay, same intensity is if I'm doing like what I did with the elements where it's like I'm doing 4 batches all at once. It's like, all right, this is intense. Like, but just doing one is like
what did I just do?
Just put 0.28 like amount of lye
and then like in the pot, it's like there's nothing in there.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like you can't even use it in the big pot. You can, but like, why? You gotta use the smaller pot.
And then when we started actually doing the juices, that was intense. Like,
that was so cool.
The most recent one, in January, when we were like, screw it, we're gonna do the whole line's gonna be juice. I was like determined.
Well, Ava was talking about this. Like, you were talking about this for a while. You were like, I don't know why.
Well,
I don't know how.
We
but we're
did
gonna
it here
get
and
this.
there. There was like I'm trying to think. I think I did cucumber and celery because they were. It's basically water. Like cucumbers. I'm like we could do cucumber and celery. So that we did for a while, and then I was like. I had a whole new website coming out. I actually paid someone to like go out of their way to like redo my website because there were certain things I wanted, and I'm like, I'm so done with doing everything my fucking self. Like I just got so sick of it. So I'm like, with the new website launch, I want everything to be fruit and vegetables. I want every soap to have fruit and vegetable in it. The most intense, strange process had to be mushroom. Have you ever, I always say to people, like, have you ever juiced mushroom? Like, juiced it. When it comes out, it's like, it's like this goopy, like, mossy looking, like, it was crazy. And then, like, putting it through the soap process, it almost feels, like, remember when we were doing, like, it almost feels like it has, like, some kind of like brain or like it was like it was so weird the way the process went, and I was like, this is gonna come out horrible. It's gonna crack. It's gonna whatever.
Came out amazing.
It was like the best soap we had.
It really was. Like
it really
like, yeah, this is it. This is it. Like,
yeah,
it's
I'm
funny.
like, it's gonna overheat. It's gonna like it doesn't want to be a soap. That's it. The mushrooms are gonna separate, and they didn't, and they came out. That soap's amazing.
That soap's one of my favorites.
I want to remake it.
Yeah, we have
this
to.
week.
Yeah, I'm like, I got to reach out to my friend.
I know.
I'm like, cause, yeah.
Yeah, but that process was like the most intense. And then recently we did the sweet potato.
Sweet potato was interesting.
Like literally, the sweet potato was cooking
in the
soap, and you could smell. Sweet potato.
Yeah. And now it smells like sweet potato because it's cooked into the soap.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, your viewers might not know, but soap heats up to 240 degrees. So that's why, it's pretty dangerous what we do.
It's pretty dangerous, yeah.
Like gloves, goggles. Ashley wears her hair tats all the time.
Yeah, I stuff my hair in
That's
my
why
hat.
the sweet potato was cooking. It like cooked up to 240 degrees, and like it smelled like cooked sweet potato.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, soap process is wild. Like, I feel like people's experience with understanding anything about soap just comes from Fight Club, period.
Yeah. And I've never seen that movie. I
actually just watched it recently.
I've never seen it.
Because
everyone's like, oh, that's like Fight Club. I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it, because I'm like, it's such a good movie. Like, I'm not even going to get into all of it right now, but, like, whatever you think that movie is about, it's not. It's like,
so it's not about fighting.
It's I had a completely different view of what I thought that movie was, and I watched it and I was like, this is why people really go hard for this movie. Cuz it's like, it's one of those ones that make you think a lot, So, definitely.
So I need like a night to really yeah. I haven't like really watched TV in years.
Yeah.
I literally put the TV on at night to just work or zone out, and then I go to sleep.
Maybe after the Mabel Ramen night, when she goes to sleep, we'll put on Fight Club.
Yeah, you think I'm gonna make it?
We'll see.
Yeah, okay.
Good luck. Oh man,
I'm tired right now. I can take a nap. Is it still hot, the tea?
Nah, it's actually, I feel like it's like hot but good to drink. It's just gonna make you warm. And we're both wearing long sleeve. I'm already hot. Like, I'm like,
oh, it was cold this morning.
Yeah, that I put on like way too many layers.
Yeah.
I feel like talking to you on this podcast, I'm really forgetting I'm on the podcast. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
like,
not. I'm not.
I'm like, put my arm up. I'm just like, yeah, because it's just, I mean, I see you pretty often. You know, so.
I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, wow, I see her all the time. Like, she comes to the house to the point that Dean is just like, that's it. like your mind. Yesterday was so funny. Sit down, sit.
Yeah, Dean was directing me. Ava's son, he was directing me all over her house, like, hey, like, oh, okay, like,
and I'm like, she has to help mommy work, you know, like she's got things to do.
And he was like, sit here, Sonic. Chicken nugget. But yeah, it's like, yeah, like I keep like catching myself just be like, oh yeah, we're just about to eat salad, you know. So something I just want to also put out there about Ava that you might not know is Ava's salads, okay? Like,
she's obsessed.
It's so good. Like,
I'm just happy you like them, because most people don't like salad. So like when I make stuff, I make like a big batch for a party, and people like kind of like, oh, you know, I'm gonna take the nachos or whatever the hell's there instead, and I'm like, oh,
you do like adventurous salads, because it's like, for me, like I'm always like about fruit being in my salad, because I'm like strawberries or raspberry. I love strawberries, I love raspberry. I always felt like weird about being in my salad. I'm like, Ava got me eating like strawberries with a fresh garlic clove next to an onion with some honey mustard dressing, like, and it slaps. Like, it's just like, yo, I don't know, the combination, like, she just does a thing. She does a whole thing with it, and it's like that and Ava's matcha, like, it's just out of control.
And I don't even really drink matcha, so I'm like, is it good?
It's so good. Yeah. Like, and she's like, you know, she'll just be like, boom, cardamom, you know, because it's like
cardamom. Like, I just love the smell of it.
You know, you made me like cardamom.
Love cardamom.
I didn't like it.
It was like my emotional essential oil for a while.
We have these things we have seasons of essential oils. I feel like everybody has a different version of this. Whatever you do, wherever you are, whether it's a color or an essential oil or an herb, like, you know, you have like a theme of things. Like, and like for us, because we're working with essential oils and herbs all the time, our themes tend to be herbs or essential oils, and like
follow you for like months.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, because like, you know, when we're coming up with different recipes and different formulas for different scents and stuff, you will notice and kind of like make fun of each other, be like, oh, what are you gonna put some clove in here? You're gonna put some cardamom? Yeah, you're gonna put some vetiver?
Oh my god.
Because it's like, you know, we notice the patterns in one another.
I mean, yeah, over the years.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think in the last 2 years, you brought that book.
Mm-hmm.
The emotional, is it an emotional essential oil?
It's actually a doTERRA book.
Is
you know,
it?
yeah, it's a doTERRA book.
That.
Yeah. It's like, you know, I was at this event. It was like a wellness event, and the woman was like giving the whole doTERRA thing. You know what I mean?
Which I mean.
I know. We know. It's all right. Yeah, I let that go. and you know, I was listening to her because she was like just a cute lady. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're cute, like you. You know, you're like what's the word? She was like quirky. That's the word.
I love quirky.
And yeah, I love it, right? So she's like, you know, she's telling me, and she's called and I'm talking to her, and I'm like looking at the oils and smelling the oils, because some oils I just don't know what they smell like too. I haven't had that.
They're ginger, I think, smells different.
Really good, actually.
Yeah,
really
like it doesn't have that like earthy dirt smell.
It smells more like fresh
like
cut
when you cut
ginger, yeah,
which confuses me, because it's like, why is every ginger I buy, like it smells like dirt, but then the doTERRA one smells like I want to, like, if we ever get,
I mean, they're gonna argue it's quality. You know,
it might be,
and it might be
whatever.
It might be.
I'm not even gonna say it's not.
I don't feel here nor there about it. It's just like with the amount of essential oils.
It reminds me, doTERRA reminds me of like Mary Kay.
Yeah, because it's like it's a pyramid scheme type, you know, situation. I like their balanced blend. I love it. I'll get like one item, but I just don't like that every time I want to get one item, you're pitching me how I can like do the same thing and do it, and I'm like,
that's
I
how
just
they get paid. I mean,
yeah, which I get it, but like the stuff like that, it just gives me anxiety. It makes me just completely avoid everyone. No one gets money, and then if I really need it, I get it from like Amazon. Now we're all just like losing, but I'm winning because I get what I want. But still, it's just like avoiding human contact.
Just come to Ava Quinn's and you can get anything.
Yeah, I know. We'll mix that. We'll make our own balance.
God.
But yeah, like I was like at the table, and I'm looking at the table, and I'm like, what is this? Emotional guide, you know? Emotions.
Oh, emotional guide. That's what it is.
It's an emotional guide to essential oils. And I was like, emotional guide to essential oils. Like, that's my language. Come
Mhm.
on, let's get into it. You know, I opened up the book, and she was like, oh, da, da, da. I was like, are you selling this? And she's like, no, we actually buy it with, like, doTERRA. And I was like, she's like, I have an older one. I could sell it to you. I was like, bet. I'm like, you know what? I'm missing, like, 10 different new essential oils. That's fine. I'm like, let me take a
I
picture
love
of what
that book,
vanilla
though.
means. It's so good.
Yeah.
Because then every time we go into our moods.
Well, at the time, I was like obsessed with vetiver. Remember? Like vetiver, that even
Vetiver.
still. Vetiver
Yeah,
goes
you're
in
still throwing
everything. I
vetiver in
love
everything.
vetiver.
I'm like,
It's
let's
such
be
an
honest.
earthy, like sweet, like it reminds me of patchouli, but stronger, if that makes sense.
It's like stronger, but not stronger at the same time.
It's
It's
good.
stronger in certain ways.
Yeah, but you put
too
like
strong in
you
the
put
other
like
ways.
too many drops of that, and like your full vetiver.
Yeah.
So I remember when you got the book, I'm like vetiver. Like what's vetiver? I can't tell you what it is now.
I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah.
I know, but I think it was like a protection, like, and at the time it made sense for what, like what was going on in my life. I'm like, oh yeah, like that's why I'm so drawn to that.
Yep.
And
And
that was
like,
for a while.
what was the recent one? Was clove? Clove is boundaries.
Clove, and then there was cedar, and then I got obsessed with cedar leaf.
Cedar leaf. Yeah.
And I was like, we were
Welcome,
buying these little
welcome.
bottles, and I was like ordering, and I'm like, yeah, fuck this, I'm ordering the 16 ounce. It was like $160, and every time we go to use, I'm like, use it. I got it. Let's use it.
It's cedar leaf. It's just, I'm just smelling it right now in my head, so I'm like shaking my head because it's just like, you know,
The whole front of my house smells like cedar leaf because of all the cedar trees, and I didn't know what cedar, like I didn't know what that smell was until
when
we
we
got
were walking.
the essential oil.
Well, when
yeah,
we were walking, when we grabbed the cedar,
It smells just like the essential oil.
it does. And like, that's cedar wood smells like the wood, but the cedar leaf is different, and it's called thuya, and like, you know, I don't know, just super random, completely off topic, ADHD thought here, but like when I say the word thuya, it reminds me of like there's a Naruto it's an infamous song, like, because they change the song all the time, different seasons and stuff, but it's like, and it's like, but they say a word, and I don't know what that word is, but it sounds like thuya. So now, the more you know, anybody who watches Naruto is gonna understand entirely that reference.
When I was like, I want to say 18 to like 21, I watched it because I was high as hell, and I loved it.
It's really, like, honestly, it's an amazing show. Like, I feel like every kid from the age of like maybe when they turn like 10 to 12, like should be required to watch it.
Yeah, but the new ones aren't like. Are there new
We're not
ones?
watching Baruto. We're not
Is that
getting
what it's
into
called?
that. Yeah, no, that's
okay.
Naruto's son.
I don't know. I've seen. Oh.
Yeah, we're not talking about him.
Right.
But like,
I
Naruto,
think I tried to show them to Mabel, and she wasn't interested.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I get it. It's like certain animation things too, or like I feel like she would do well with like a Sailor Moon situation, But like at a certain point, I feel like if I have kids, or when I have kids, like, they're going to hit a certain age, and I'm going to be like, this is what's required of you. Like, in homeschool, like, I'm like, this is actually the lesson. So get to it. You know what I mean? And, like, we could talk about it. Yeah. And we can also read it because it's a manga, so you could read it. So it's not even just watching it.
Naruto.
I fucking love it. Like, I have a tattoo on my hand and my belly about it. But yeah, the reason why I love it so much is really because, which you guys could really just go to the other episode about Naruto and then find out. But in a nutshell, it's just because of what it stands for. The way it explains things, like the lessons, is just, it's so profound. It's so profound. Like, you learn so much about so many different archetypes in your world. You could kind of pin like, oh, that person's like a Shikamaru, or that person's like a Sakura, that's a Sasuke.
I have
like,
no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sasuke.
It's
I
just
remember,
like,
Sasuke.
like all the characters, just like when you watch her, you get into anything. I think that.
How about Ponyo?
Ponyo was so good.
So
I think I talked about Ponyo on here. That's the influence.
So good. It's if you haven't seen Ponyo,
Watch Ponyo. And then thank Ava, because also Ponyo is so cute.
Mabel used to love it.
Ponyo,
I think at 3 I introduced her to it. Now she's,
She got back into it when we watched it. She was fake,
but that's
like,
because you were there. Yeah.
She was like fake, like, I don't want to, and then she was like, actually, I want to watch Ponyo. I was like, cool, I'm happy that you do.
Yeah.
Now we're all here doing it together. you know, and yeah, no, like little things like that. It's so interesting how things can influence you, you know, and like having these different things, whether big or small. It's like when you turn around and you look at how far you've come in life and you realize like everything plays a part in it. It's not just like these big motion things. Like even us meeting might have been like a little thing, and look at how big it's been for the both of us, you know?
Really.
Like getting that emotional essential oil book. Like it's like a little thing that I just got off a whim, and then like now we're like, all right, like what am I actually feeling that I'm smelling? I want to smell clove all the time. So, oh, it's because I'm working on my boundaries right now. It makes sense, you know? And it's just like, I think that's a testament of like, you know, just looking back at how far you've come from things, and it's like, and what's gotten you there. Like I know for me, like one of my motivating factors is remembering why I'm doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
And just like origin story, and like just your why for you, and then your why for other people, you know. And
well, I always think back of like when I started, I remember I mean there's a bunch of reasons why I started, but specifically I remember going into the store and getting, at the time it was Johnson & Johnson's lotion for Mabel. Like I was a new mom. First of all, when I found that I was pregnant, like I didn't even think I could have a kid. So I went from like someone who was like running these stores to being a mom. I had no idea what I was doing. So I'm going into the store. I'm like, oh yeah, everyone gets Johnson & Johnson. Get Johnson & Johnson, Dove soap, whatever. And I remember looking at the ingredients saying like, these are for kids. Like, why is there all this shit in it? Whatever, I did use it, and then really that's how Love Nicks or Ava Quinn's kind of started, because I wanted clean products. I was so sick of picking stuff up. Like I even made my own baby wipes for like the longest time. Mabel she only ate raw for 3 years, like no sugar. And I remember people would like be mad at me. Like they were mad. Like my mom would be like, just give her ice cream. Like she deserves it. I'm like, she doesn't even know what ice cream is. Why do I have to give her ice cream? Like, so she would go to like kids parties and like everyone would be eating pizza. And I would say to her, like, if you really want the pizza, like go for it. But she would eat the beets that I brought. I remember her sitting there just like eating like raw, like little sliced beet chips while everyone was eating pizza. I don't even know why I brought this up, but
because we're talking about the reason why.
Yeah, like so when I started the company, I wanted everything to be really clean. But like as you grow, like you realize that things you were like, I was using soy in the beginning. I didn't know. So then I transferred soy, and then we use sunflower oil, where sunflower oil, it's non-GMO organic sunflower oil. And I eventually want to change that, and you know that. But the more you learn, the more you know, that you realize that everything on the shelves is shit. And I'm sick of it, down to the makeup. My daughter wants to go to Claire's. I'm like, this sucks. Like, look, and I get her. She looks at the back of stuff now, and the only one that she recognizes, high fruit corn syrup. She'll be like, oh, there's corn syrup, and I can't get it. But like, they could be red dye number 4. I'm like, there's red dye number 40 in it. And you're definitely not getting it, you know. But she only recognizes that. But at least like at least she's learning. She hates me and loves me for it. And like when you get older, you're gonna love this.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, it's introducing like real items, you know, like real.
It confuses me that half the stuff on the shelves are still even there. Because even when stuff says it's natural, like it's not. Like it's not. It gets me so mad.
Weird note, just on this topic, natural flavors, right? So like there's a thing. I don't know if y'all are ready for this. I don't know if y'all are ready for this one, but I'm gonna say it anyway. There's a thing that's natural flavors, and if it's raspberry or vanilla, it could very well be beaver anal glands.
I did read that, but also natural flavors in general can be up to like thousands of things, and one of them is MSG. So it's how they cover saying everything. MSG.
Yeah.
So basically, if they want to put something in there that they don't want you to know about, they'll use natural flavors, and everything's in like the oat milk I buy. I hate it. It has natural flavors. So I mean, I'm gonna start making my own milk thanks to your mom for a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to mama.
But still, like it's scary how much shit is there. So then, like even my mom, for example, She doesn't use my soap. Like, I'll give her soap. I'm like, Mom, this is the new turmeric soap. Like, you're going to fucking love this. All right. I go to in her bathroom. There's Dove. I'm like, why do you have Dove? So people are just so set
In what they
in their
used
ways.
to, yeah.
Yeah. Like I was thinking about this the other day. My biggest supporters are people I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you are my your mother is like my fan. Like, she loves
For
it.
sure. Yeah, my mom's a big Ava Quinn fan.
But like when I get down to like my OG customers, I don't know really. Like, I know their names.
Yeah.
I know what they order, but I don't know them. And I'm like, I think to myself, like, my own family doesn't even really buy stuff because they're so set. Like, they're so like, no, I want this shampoo from Lush, or I want this, which it is what it is. But a lot of people don't understand these new soaps that we're making. It's insane. Like, the lather is like fluffy velvet.
Literally, like, you
It's
could
so
equate
different.
it to like I like how I explain it to people is like the latte foam. Like when you have the foam in a latte, it's like that
Yeah.
like luxurious.
You're literally bathing with carrot juice. Like, like if I saw that on a shelf, I'd be like, what?
Mhm.
Wait, this says carrot, and I look at the ingredients and there's no shit in it. I'd be all for it.
Yeah.
All for it. Yeah. So it just pisses me off that this, especially for kids. Like, you walk in and like they're promoting, they'll have like SpongeBob on the label,
Yeah.
and it's like red 40. Eat me.
And I mean, which brings us into a completely deeper, darker, and heavier topic of just like, the health in America, which is just a whole other thing. So just to bring it back is like, even if you don't want to do the work to figure it out, find someone who does. Here we are doing it for you.
Skincare wise, yeah, definitely. Like, and I try to have everything. The thing I need to work on is more male products,
Yeah.
which since I'm not, like, a lot of the products that I make, I literally make it because I want it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not because I'm making it because it's trendy or whatever. I'm not a man. So, and
Yeah.
like, my husband has long hair. He uses the shampoo.
Yeah.
Like, I have no beard, or I have to make more men's stuff. But
And that's the thing is like you can like we can't know what it's like to have
no,
a
I
beard
have
and
no
use
idea.
beard
I have
oil,
no
but,
idea
like-
what men even need. Like, I know there's that company, Dr. Squash, that like it's more of a soap company geared for men, like men's scents, but there's fragrance in it.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like it doesn't like all of the items which we make are universal for everyone.
Yes.
It's just like more of a
More-
psychological
Yeah,
like packaging thing. And then there's also the things like the beard oil and stuff that definitely could be something, or like the beard wax and things like that could be more centered that we can't relate to.
Ava Quinn's, to me, is a mom-owned company. So it's like moms and their kids. Like, that's how that's how I look at it. I would feel like most of my customers are the mom. That's why I said, like, when it comes to me and you, we have totally different customers.
Yeah.
But they're kind of the same.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like the same pocket, different people.
yeah, like it's people who are trying to start healthy living, or they are on their healthy living journey.
Intentional living.
And
like,
they want to help their kids with dry skin or whatever the case may be. But that's why I try to make, what I make is really for me and my kids, and then it just gets put on the shop. Like the felted soaps. I started making those because Mabel, it would slip out of her hand. So I was like, oh, I can, I'm starting to mess with wool. Let's wrap our soaps in wool. And that's how the mystery monster came about.
Which is so cool.
I love those. And people, they don't know what they are, so it's hard to sell on the website. But at shows, like, they sell out.
Yeah, when they hear you and they see the demo and like,
Yeah.
you can wrap their head around
Like, wait,
it.
what? That's soap? That's not soap. I'm like, yeah, that's soap.
Yeah. If you were to speak to a younger version of yourself,
I remember seeing this question like a while ago. I have no idea what I would say. Like,
if you could look back at how far, erase whatever you thought at the time when you seen that, now, here, now, in this moment, when
how
you
young?
look back,
Like, how young?
like when you look back at
Okay.
seeing how far you've come any version of yourself from any timeline, what would you say to her at a time that she felt like she wasn't going to do it? Like maybe with your business or something in your life.
When so I got fired from Journeys because I was pregnant and I wasn't able. I was like, no, I'm not doing 80 hours. And remember, my store was running down a little bit because I wasn't there a lot. I was with the company almost 10 years. And the first month that my store ran down, they were like, listen, we got to let you go. There was a lot more politics to it because there was new people coming in, and I'm not going to get into that. But I couldn't handle it anyway. But I remember he was my friend, but he was my boss. He was my district. And he sat down. He's like, listen, I have to let you go. But, you're so creative. Like, just do something creative. And I remember thinking, like, fuck you. Like, what? Like, I've been with this company for so long. I ran stores up over $1 million. Like, and you're sitting here and mad that I'm down $2,000 this month. But I'm not saying that he was the motivator, because I'm not going to give him that much credit, because I was always a very creative person. But I remember being mad. And then I was a mom, and it just wool just fell into my lap, and it just happened. So, I mean, what he said, I would never think in a million years at that moment when he said that I was going to start making soap. I never said to myself, like, oh, I want to make soap. Mm-hmm. Never. Especially with all the law and the process that it goes through. Like, would you? Well, no, you were into it, right? You were like...
Yeah, like, I was dabbling. Yeah. I was dabbling. Not the lie, though. Not the lie. Like, I was dabbling because my sister, Nicole, was, like, she made, like, body butter, or, like, she made, like, a scrub. She was, like, starting to make stuff. I remember you telling me. And then we were like, oh, like, I was like, oh, like, maybe... I was looking at, like, doing, like, candles. And I started making candles. And then, like...
Now you're making candles, too.
I forget that part. You know how long ago it was? I remember I made a candle in a little...
Like tea candle?
It was, like... I was making the tea candles in like, thrifted teacups. I was making, like, just random teacups. I was making candles like that. But I was making... one of my first candles I made was in a little planter pot. You know, the ones that are, like, that big. Mm-hmm. It's like, what's the point of this? But it's so cute. Yeah. That was one of the first candles I made. But, yeah, like, that stuff, like, yeah, with my sister, she was, like, she was like, oh, like, maybe we were thinking about doing, like, melt and pour. I don't know if we ever actually did it. But, like, we were afraid of the
people
lie.
That did melt and pour. I'm like, yeah, melt and pour. Because I never even messed with it. And it was, to me, it was just full of chemicals. I'm like, why are you even...
It's full of chemicals, and it's, like, and it's the shortcut. But it's also a use that people do. I get that, because I used to always feel like that with skincare when it comes to bases. Like, I'm like, you're literally just taking some, or like private labeling. I would be like, you're just taking something and slapping your name. You didn't make that.
Yeah.
It's like, at that point, just say that it's that brand that made it. You know,
you just
like,
threw an essential oil in it.
Yeah, or like even do a collaboration, or like just put it somewhere to just.
Remember when we were looking into making our own melt and pour years ago?
I feel like
I mean, it's like a blip in our little story, but
as much of a blip as the liquid one.
Yeah. The liquid soap. Yeah. Yes. But I remember looking up the process, and it's like intense, and there's a lot of alcohol, and like it just made no sense to me than just
when we're trying to make something minimal ingredients, it's just adding a bunch more. Yeah. Because the thing is that people don't realize, like, that there's so much more to dig deep into. Okay, natural flavors. You can't just be okay with that. Oh, even down to, like, mango butter. Like, you dig into it. You realize that this one ingredient that you're putting.
Butter. Yeah.
Because think about it. How is mango butter? You can't. I
don't
just
remember
mango
what
butter.
was in it.
Mango butter. It's hydrogenated soy oil. Hydrogenated
but they don't
soy
say
oil.
That. They call it mango butter.
They just call it mango butter, but it's like 50% hydrogenated soy oil, and if you're a person who's
Isn't
avoiding
that what we
soy.
just saw with the vitamin E?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With the vitamin E as well. It's like 50%, 55%, 33%, depending on what it is. And it's like in majority of sources. So like the thing is that can be irritating too is like when you're aware of all of that and you're putting attention into all of that, there's a physical cost that comes with that. Not only that, but then you think about all of the people who are just saying organic or natural products that are like using fragrances and like all of these different things, or just genuinely don't have the awareness. They haven't dug deep in that way, and it's like you're working really hard to like be that clean company, and then everybody else in that bracket
It's
is like
so hard.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that like resonance is a real thing, and like the integrity that gets poured into something that you do really reaches the people that it's meant to.
Yeah, I mean, even vegan. Like, there's so many different versions of vegan. Like, you can't use honey. Like, why can't you use honey? Like, it's a whole, like, the wool. I tried looking, remember? I don't know if you remember, but I tried. Fibers. I went through banana fiber. I remember felting, and then you were like, oh, let's try to felt hemp. Was it hemp?
I think it was hemp.
Yeah, and it just nothing.
Did the same
like
thing.
It doesn't do what wool does. And what people don't understand is if the sheep is not what do they call it, like cut or shredded? Shaved.
Yeah. I'm like cut
or
shredded.
Shredded. Shredded. Okay, shaved. It's not good for the sheep. So
they get mad at it. They need it. Yeah. It's part of their maintenance. It's a haircut.
So as long as you're getting from a good wool farm company, I don't see a problem with that. But the vegan community doesn't like it. Like, it's the one thing on my site that is not vegan. But I know where my source comes from. I've asked her to even dye the wool with vegetables, and she's like, no, I can't do that because of mold. She's like, I don't know how to do that, which I understand. But that's a project for another day.
Yeah, and cool. it's just but there's no matter what, there's always like extreme like experiences and people, like no matter what, you can be on your P's and Q's with everything, and there's always going to be someone saying something.
Always.
So it's like you can't always cater to everybody, and I think that and that also comes from lack of education too. Like people who are usually speaking the loudest about something are usually people that haven't had the grounded rationale to like really dig deep into layers of certain things. In my experience of saying that, like the person who is the loudest doesn't tend to be the person most educated on the topic at hand.
Yeah.
They're just the one most passionately affected. I understand. I've been the loudest and I wasn't fully educated on things. And I've been, and then when I feel like I'm more educated, so you never be fully more educated on topics, I don't feel the need to yell. I'm just like, all right, well, I hope you like, here's a PDF if you want to check it out. Like, I did the work for you if you want to just use.
I try my best to keep the company, as vegan, eco-friendly, and what's the other one? Plant-based. Well, it is plant. That's the easy part, the plant-based part. But I try my best to do that. And there's always someone. I get a message like, your lipstick cases are plastic, and I'm like, but they're reusable. You can send it to me, and I can refill it for you. Or it's insane. It's like,
are you saying the same thing to the restaurant that you're getting like the take-home containers from, or the straws that you're using instead of the paper ones that are dissolving into your water slowly while you're drinking your drink, driving you into madness?
Your plastic-lined Starbucks cups that
Oh yeah, for sure. Plastic-lined Starbucks cups for sure.
But they're bothering me.
The small company, not the billion-dollar companies. And it's just like.
And eco-friendly is very, like those eco-friendly cases, which I have plenty of them, just so everybody knows, they're very expensive. They're not cheap. So when people want to do wholesale, or they start complaining about the price, and I'm like I'm not buying, tens of thousands units of one thing. So it's not like per unit, it's not going to be cheap. Like, so you're getting, and I'm very fairly priced. At least I would think, and you've always told me like, no, don't charge that. Like, you're charging way too little, and I'm putting hard work into those. Like the felted soaps alone, like each one takes me an hour, and I'm only charging anywhere between $12 and $15. I'm not even paying myself. I'm just paying for the material at this point, and like a little bit extra. Yeah. So a lot of people don't understand what goes into a small business.
No, and it's just like, and what that takes is like, and also like I think that's something that's really important which is, it goes into the bracket, like, we're talking about our businesses and stuff, but there's so many other things that to look back on and be like, look at how far you've come, like as a person, as a development, as a mom, as one of the many things I do or whatever, like I am. And it's just, there's so many things to look back on, and I feel like I completely forgot what I was about to say. So, word, that part, and it's like, it'll come back if it's meant to. And, yeah, I feel like when we just look back at what
we've definitely come a long way. I mean, I
thank you. Yes.
I moved so many different times, and I remember when I was with Mabel's dad, I started in like a room. Are you good?
I'm good. I just
and you were there for everything. And then I moved to my mom's house, which was like miserable, but it worked.
It was a part of the process.
And it was just me and Mabel, and I had another 2 rooms for my soaps. And then I was like, I can't stay here anymore. So I got an apartment, just me and Mabel, and I kept that basement apartment just for my soaps, which was working so well. And then, then I met someone else, and we ended up moving to Jersey, which I never, ever thought, ever in a million years, I would move from New York to New Jersey. I remember when he wanted Jersey, he wanted Bayonne, and I'm like, nah, like I'm definitely not going to Bayonne. But I never saw myself moving to Jersey. But then whatever, I love Jersey now. Like even just driving here today, I'm like, Staten Island sucks. Like the traffic sucks. Like
traffic sucks.
Driving in Jersey is totally different. Like it really is. Anyway, and then he helped convert the entire garage into Ava Quinn's, and that was huge.
That was like the biggest glow up.
Oh,
that was like the
my
biggest
God!
It's the shelves for the essential oils.
Well, let's just give Tim props here. Yeah. The fact that he didn't want that garage, and he knew automatically, like, listen, you're getting this garage, you're gonna run your business, like, was amazing. Like this poor man has all his stuff in a little shed. Like when most men are like, no, I'm taking the garage, my cars.
Word.
No, like he was all for that and ready for that and ready for me to raise Dean. And, that's the biggest part of it is like staying home is hard. It's hard in general, paying the bills and being a stay-at-home mom, but then like running a business with 2 kids, like, because your kids always come first. If they're sick and you had to get like a soap launch out, your soap launch isn't coming out. Like nothing's coming out that week. Because it's not just one day, and it's
because it's real life. It's not fake life. This is real life. Like
I remember emailing customers like, "Listen, I'm sorry, your packages can't go out this week because my daughter got the flu." And then like, not only does my daughter get the flu, my son gets the flu, and then I get the flu, and then Tim gets, and then the whole house gets the flu. I'm like, Ash, don't come anywhere near my house because like we all got the flu, And life is happening, but I'm just saying. When that garage got because he redid it, like he tore down the walls, put in insulated walls, put the mini split, because like you need soaps need to stay at a certain temperature to cure. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
I don't even have like a video or like anything of it, but
that's the thing with us,
we suck at content. Like
I
hoard it. Done.
I hoard it. Like I take it. Like I took a bunch of processes yesterday. I was just like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm making my own Lion's Mane supplement. I took the Lion's Mane.
And we're not videotaping this at all. And then you go
videotaped
online.
it. I videotaped
it.
If they'll ever see it is another thing, but I videotaped it.
But I love when then you see videos and you're like, wait, I just did that.
I just did it
today, and they're getting like 14,000 hits or whatever. And like here I'll post it up, and I get like 20 hits. And I'm
but
like,
you know
whatever.
what? At least they recorded it. And
most of the time I don't. Like all the juiced soaps. I can tell you, like we didn't.
I recorded like the lie. I feel like I always record like a slow-mo of the lie.
Yeah, we hardly did any.
Meanwhile, it's like they don't understand the greatness
know what the
of
hell
that
is.
But like to me, I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is
the
it.
colors, like the color of the
color
carrot,
of
the lie,
the blueberry.
With the carrot is like the blueberry kind of turns brown.
Blueberry turned brown, but there was one.
The carrot is the best one.
The carrot for sure.
It's like.
It was the carrot and the mushroom. That's what it was, because it was that like mauve.
Also,
brownish.
I mean, nobody probably knows that. I don't even know if people know this. The sunflower sprouts. Remember how green? When I juiced the sunflower sprouts and we made the sunflower soap for that company,
Grateful Greens.
Grateful Greens, which is a really cool company.
Yeah, I really like their shirt. Shout out to them too.
Yeah, shout out to them. Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Tim for the conversion.
Yeah.
For real, like that was like the biggest goal. I mean, it's like the coolest.
I went from like
situation.
a room for the longest time. I remember living in like essential oils, and my friend would be like, "Yo, your lungs, like this is not good for you and the kids." And
it makes such a difference to be able to have like a designated area where you go and do something, because it's like when
like the other day he had like a soap batch went wrong. Remember, like, and then the next day I'm like, oh, I have to get this batch out because it's a wholesale order. Like they ordered a bunch of soaps, and I looked at Tim because he was off, and I'm like, listen, you got to stay with Dean. Like I have to redo the soap. So I redo it, and I just left everything there versus like cleaning it all in the kitchen. And it felt so nice to like not have it in my living space, you know?
Which is like, it's because it's like, even if you have a box, like I had a box, I just had soap stuff. And, like, when I was going to make it, I have to take it all out, do the whole process. And it's, like, to have, like, that designated area.
That even was, like, look how we grew there. Like, in the size of the batches and the rooms, like, the setup, like.
Everything. There's so much.
Even in the quality, like, all of it. Like, even.
The labels.
Yes. That's just to say, like, yo,
Canva should sponsor me. I just want to let y'all know how I've been an advocate for you guys since like you came out, you know. So feel free to just
like everything's so professional now.
Yeah, it's clean, it's chic, and
like
it's
I remember when we made the deodorants and I finalized the label, and I was like, yo, this looks like I should just put a bunch of these on the wholesale on the Whole Foods shelf, 'cause, like these belong in Whole Foods.
Yeah, imagine people coming up to like scan it, and then they're like, we don't sell that here. And it's like, how did this get here? You know, a friend of mine who used to, she wrote a poem book, and she used to put it in Barnes and Noble. She used to just drop some of her books in Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. I'll probably get sued if I do stuff like that, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's if they have proof.
Yeah.
Solved concepts,
Cameras everywhere.
You know, it depends. You can wear masks now.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything.
Ashley's going to come to my house tomorrow like, yo, I put this shit on the Whole Food shelf.
I may or may not have dropped some things.
I'm just saying, at least the quality of it now, like looking back, of not even just the labels, like the pictures. Like I remember everyone would be like, oh, you're so good with photography, because I loved photography as a kid. Like,
because you are.
Photography as a kid was like my jam. Like I wanted to go to the new school for college, the new school for photography. I was going to do commercial photography. Like that was like one of my dreams. It just didn't work out. But I remember when I started photographing the soap, I would always think it was shit. I'm like, this is shit. Everyone's like, no, it's amazing. And then like, you know, the more I got into it, like, and then when I took pictures for the new website in January, I'm like, holy shit. Like, these are crisp and, like, nice. And I remember the woman doing the website was like, oh, like, who took your pictures? I'm like, me, bitch. Like, that was me. You know? And she was just like, wow, these is, like, really go with the theme. Like, it's really, like, like, it was amazing.
Yeah. Like, you have the type of pictures, the pictures that you take, you have the type of pictures that it just, like, it's like, like literally, like
they're clean. They're clean, which is what I want on the website. I want clean. Yeah,
for sure.
I like clean, but I'm just saying, even that, like how far I've come in that, like just the photography, the labeling, like, because those are like when you start a business, or even look back on your own personal social medias, like look at that, like yeah,
for sure. For sure. It definitely you get when you start from the beginning of your social media,
like, why was I posting that?
Yeah,
like, what is that?
There's some cringe, you know, growing up and having social media around too, for sure.
I'm hoping Mabel never does it. I told her she's getting a flip phone when she's older. She's like yelling at me now. She doesn't even have a phone. No, Mom, I can't. I need, like, I want what you
It's a rite of passage.
I'm like, it's not happening.
I'll do the same thing with my kids. They're gonna flip phone for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I would give them a cool one, like a sidekick, if it still existed, but you can't.
Sidekick. I never had a sidekick.
Break it to you. I always wanted one, but I didn't have it.
I was a BlackBerry girl.
My sister too. I was like the I had like a Juke. I had like a chocolate. I had like the Envy.
I don't know what any
Yeah.
of these are, but
All of
I didn't
them.
even get a phone. I didn't want a phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then my boss, when I started Journeys, he's like, you need a phone. Like, you're running a store. I need to get in touch with you. I'm like, you get in touch with me at the store. Like, when I'm home, you don't need to get in touch with me.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I need to get in touch with you. So he actually bought me a phone. And at first, I hated it. I was like, I hated people getting in touch with me, especially like I just
Being
I
that
didn't
accessible.
like it. Yeah,
my
because
sister
I
talks
wasn't
about that a
used
lot.
to that.
Yeah.
And then I officially got my first one. I was 20.
Mm.
And I remember
Wow.
all my friends had a phone, and I was like, nah.
That's great.
Yeah, I was 20 years old when I got my first phone.
Yeah, you're already living like semi
Yeah.
off grid.
Yeah, I wanted nothing to do with it. And I remember
That's
he
valid.
got me the BlackBerry, and he paid for like the first couple months because I didn't want it. I was like, if you want me to have a phone, you pay it. Like, I'm not. So he probably put it on the company. But yeah, I hated it. But then, like, it sucks you in, you know?
It does, yeah. Now we all have a phone addiction, so
Yeah, when this is, like, nothing compared to what we first had.
no.
This is, like,
No.
insane. Like,
No, it's like
I mean, I
literally
couldn't take.
a computer
I don't
at
think
our
you could take
fingertips.
pictures on. I don't remember taking pictures
You
on my phone.
There didn't always have a camera, but then there was a camera. The camera was so shitty.
Yeah.
And, like, but I remember the camera in the video being, like, the coolest thing that ever happened.
Yeah, I
and
don't
then,
remember
like,
doing that.
but you had to, like, if you went online, you're like, and then, because it was, like, so expensive. It was, like, $1 a minute or something
Yeah,
like that.
I don't think I
like,
messed with any of that until I got the
Yeah.
iPhone.
Yeah.
Like, I
iPhone
didn't
was, like, the
mess-
catalyst of the
Yeah.
of the reason why we
I'm
all
just
have,
saying,
like,
all
a
these
hump in our
kids
neck.
now, like Mabel doesn't know about any of that.
No.
Like, she's automatically ready for, like, this. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no.
no.
No. She thinks
I'm
she's ready
not
for
ready.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not ready.
Rites of passage. You got to work
No.
up to it.
I'm like, go play outside, climb a tree.
Yeah. Climb a tree.
Go get hurt.
Get a yeah, like have an experience, like put
Yeah.
a leaf over your
But
your
no kids are
asphalt
outside
burn.
anymore, so it's hard for me to let her do that. Like, I have to sit outside.
Yeah.
And, like, then she wants me to play.
Yeah.
I'm like, you gotta go play with your
It's a different
friends.
world.
It's a totally different world.
Different world. Yeah.
But she doesn't understand how, like, grateful she should be that I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, sometimes she's like, oh, Mom, you don't have to work. I'm like, no, I do. Like, if I don't get
That's
this
why I'm
stuff
here, yeah.
done, yeah, I was like, then I can't be here. I'm going to have to work, another job. And she doesn't understand it yet. But that girl, she could be, like, having her own business, making money, how creative she is. It's like,
I was looking at the plate she made the other. So pretty.
She made the middle, like, black.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she told me, she's like, Mom, I'm going to go grab a color, because we were, like, running out of time. She's like, add dots. So I just added a bunch of dots to just the black, because she did all the dots on the side. And I thought it was so cute. The trying, I did nothing except for the dots. She comes back and she's like, I hate them. I'm like, it's because I did it, I'm like, you told me to do it. And she's like, no. So she covers her hands in black paint and tries to erase the dots. But I think once it goes through the kennel, because it's got
the kiln, yeah.
Yeah. Said that wrong.
Yeah, sorry.
The dots, I think, are going to come out, and I'm hoping that they do, because they looked so cool. She's like, it's making me itchy looking at it. Did you really look at the plate? Yeah. She's like, it's making me itchy. I don't want it. I'm like, you're ridiculous. But she's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, the things that she does, and, like, her paintings, her clay sculptures are, like, wow. Like, how did you... Like,
I love what she did to the bathroom.
oh, yeah.
The bathroom.
She did the
bottom sink thing.
sink.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made her do that because we want to redo the
cabinet.
bathroom probably, like,
Sink
6
cabinet.
years from now.
Yeah,
So
I love
I
it.
told her to paint the whole bathroom, and she's like, no, I'm just going to do this. I'm like, okay, cool.
She did a great job, honestly.
It's very giving very, like, Friends vibe.
Yeah, it's like Friends meets Encanto. Like,
Yeah.
it's like it's its own thing. It's a Maple exclusive.
Yeah, I almost don't want to get rid of it if we ever redo the bathroom.
Honestly, you shouldn't.
I mean,
Don't ask me. I'm a hoarder though.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, you are,
Tell
you
you to
are.
keep everything.
I throw stuff out when Ashley's not around. But she doesn't look for them. It's not like you're like, yo, where's the one? Where's the stuff? Like, where
I just find purpose in things that should be
Yeah.
thrown out. I've done it with people most of my life.
I'm
So
like, these soap slithers have been here for a year, and I can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
They're not good anymore.
yeah,
I need to throw them out.
yeah. Well, certain things. There's in betweens. I'm trying to find it. Aren't we all? But looking at how far I've come, I've definitely made immense progress with that. And even just to be able to, like, joke or talk about different things and, like, address them, I feel like it just helps me not have shame about it. Because it's like when you don't talk about things is when you, like, hold on to shame. When you hold on to shame, you don't have a space to express it and to actually, like, sift through it because you're too embarrassed to talk to anybody about whatever it is. So, like, I make light about something when it's something that's very tied into, like, a lot of life drama. And, like, I feel like the more I talk about it, like, that's something that I feel like even I've came so far with in my life. It's been, like, my relationship to things. Like, I've been just, like,
You've
really
been
letting
doing
go of a
so
lot of
good,
stuff.
though. Yeah.
I really have. I've really been working really fucking hard at it. I'm just exhausted. I don't want the things. I don't want the things. Anyway, I want space. I really love space. I'm really enjoying space, Like, can't enjoy space if you have things in it.
Yeah. It's true. And once you clear everything out, like, I feel so nice. I'm like,
Yeah, your brain is like,
my closet is beautiful now.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. And when you have kids, it's hard because,
that's
like the toys everywhere is like intense.
You clean up 5 minutes later. They're just like, actually, how about
Mabel literally
like,
dumps the bin. She's like,
Yep.
come on, Dean.
Exactly.
Let's go play. I'm like, I just mopped the floor. But yeah, everyone's like, oh, when they get older, you're going to miss this. And I probably will to an extent, but, like, no.
It's like the trigger of hearing the like everything dropping out the bin.
Yeah.
Like, I can live without that.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, there's just so many toys. Mabel, and my son they're almost 7 years apart. So, like, he was just a complete surprise. And I was finally getting to that, like, oh, no toys and, like, clean house. And, like, she's getting older. And then he happened. But it's good. They played together so good. I mean, there's good days and bad days. But, yeah.
Yeah.
She's at that weird age. She wants to play, but she doesn't. So they do pretty good together. Their biggest play is hide and seek. And he has no idea what he's playing. So he's just running around, like, thinking he's looking for it. And then he'll stop and stare at the TV and be like, oh. And I'm like, Mabel, he's not looking for you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just all the things of looking back on and just being. Yeah, I think it's most important that throughout these different transitional moments that you just really, like, say thank you. Yeah. A really good friend of mine the other day said to me, we were in, like, a completely different space, like, in a dynamic a few weeks ago. And, like, now we're in a really good space. And let's just take a moment to be grateful for that and to acknowledge that because, it's important. You pray for something and then you get it. And sometimes you forget that you prayed for it in the first place, because it's still some form of chaos, right? Because we're just
because you're going through it, and you don't even realize. That's what they say. Like, write down your dreams and write down, what you're grateful for. And I'm terrible at writing anything down, but yeah, so that you can look back on it and say, oh yeah, I got that.
That's what this is for me, really.
Yeah.
Like, then this is what it is for you too, because this time capsule, we could look back and be like, look, we're looking back at this, and like, and it could be like that, like, moment. Like, I don't know how to put that in words, but you guys can get it from the sound effect. Figure it out. Like, I'm thinking like Inception, like Leonardo DiCaprio. You know what I mean? So
That's a good movie.
yeah. So if, like, y'all didn't get that, now you do. But yeah, it's just interesting. It's so interesting, like, living life.
Like, even the farmer's market. Like, think about that. Like, I remember when I was like, I want to be at a farmer's market, like, so bad. And then I moved to Jersey. I was like, screw it, I'm going to look them up. And I remember that being one of the hardest things to commit to because of the kids. And I'm like, I have to figure it out where, like, Mabel's with her dad and, like, Dean gets figured out those weekends. And thank goodness we found Metuchen. Like, Metuchen, if anyone's listening, Metuchen, the town of Metuchen is so cute. Like, it's like this, it reminds me of, like, New Hope, but in Jersey. If anyone, New Hope, PA. It's like this cute little town. So many cute restaurants and, like, Hatch what is it, Hatch 22?
Hatch 22.
44? 22.
I always say 44, but I think it's 22.
Hatch 22 is so cute.
Yeah.
Like inside, it's so
It
cute.
is. It's adorable.
But the farmers market is great.
Yeah.
And we're there every other Saturday. Well, our last day is November 11th.
But we'll be there this weekend.
Yes.
Be there this weekend
28th.
from
And there's a
9
to 2.
9 to 2.
And there's a Halloween parade. And I know that each table gives out candy. I really want to give out fruit, but I don't know if
we can get creative.
I don't want to give out candy because remember Caquitos gave us candy, and I was like, he don't know. Like, we don't promote candy, you know?
I definitely ate some candy, too,
Yeah,
though. There's balance. There's balance, you know?
Yeah, but I don't want to give out candy. So, like, little kids coming up to the table, and they're like, lollipop. I don't know what we can give out. I wish I made, like, little felted somethings, but who's got time? I don't got time.
Yeah, I don't know. We could figure it out. We'll get creative.
Yeah.
Think about something.
You guys should come by.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, grab some tomatoes. We'll have a bowl of tomatoes for you and your kids. You can grab grape tomatoes.
Yeah. I can bring like rosemary. We have so much rosemary and mint.
Come grab you some rosemary.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some real Halloween activities. Some real deal.
Put some like just tie them up together and like give them out. But even that, like, look how far we've come. Like look at
the moon box.
The moon box.
Look at the moon box.
Forgot to even mention that.
And I remember specifically, it had to be like 2015. It had to be 2015, 2014.
Ava was born 2015. So.
2015, I was like obsessed with this moon box. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, you okay.
This moon box. I love this moon box. I bought it a few times. I bought it for a few different people. And I was just like, oh, like one day I would love to do something like this, you know? And, you know, just time went on. And
what company was it?
The one that you sent me.
The
Provisions.
Oh, Provisions.
Something like that. I'm like, I would love to do my own version of this. Not like the exact same thing that they're doing, but like
theirs
my own
is more
version
like spells and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's more like the reason why I didn't I liked some of the stuff and then other stuff I didn't resonate with because some things are like practice based and like they're not
like
universal.
Like do this for a love spell. I remember seeing stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like it's more like practice based. I don't really do stuff like that. So like it wasn't just like neutral, you know? So like then when you were like, yo, like let's do this. And
I was like, fine, let's just I really want to get another. I did one moon box and it was like
did.
more of an Ava Quinn's version.
Yeah.
Because as much as I'm into it, I don't understand it the way you understand it. Mine's more of like a feeling. Like I feel like I'm drawn to the moon, but I don't know what any of it means. Like I'm like, Ash, what's this new moon mean? Like, what's this new next full moon? Like, what are we doing?
You're just intuitively tapping into it. Like, I just have studied this stuff for years. It's like, so I could bring like the background, but you're like, I feel this. And I'm like, well, that makes complete sense because it's this.
Yeah, I did it for the pink moon. Am I saying?
Yes. It was the pink moon.
I just remember the pictures are all pink background. So I was pretty sure it was for the pink moon. I made 30 boxes. And I sold out in 20 minutes. And I was set on the 30. I was like, I'm just going to make 30 boxes. You know. And then I was like, Ash, we got to make a moon box. And we did. And it came together. And we were supposed to have it launch in August. And we were both too rushed. I'm like, no, we're not gonna do this like this. I'm not going out like that. So then we did this one, which is perfect because it's October. It's like magic and, you know.
And also, I feel like we were able to bring a certain level to this moon box that I think was like really beautiful in the way of like it's grieving season. In October is all about death, like, and like not just because like I have a personal death in October, but like it's just it is like the Day of the Dead is the first like end of October, beginning of November. That's a threshold, right?
Also, like,
and
fall,
it's like
the leaves are changing.
on a literal level. It's like it's that time where things are dying, and then like what winter is all about the rest, and then spring is all about the coming back, right? So
Yeah.
it's like that process. I feel like people go through like the seasonal depression, a different grief not only in the way of somebody dying, but grief in the things that you used to have in your life that you don't have it anymore. That they say that grief is like a place that it's love without a space to go, and like really what we created together is like this like toolkit to navigate that season, because the season could be pretty heavy, and everything that we put in the moon box is like to navigate that in like a good way,
Yeah.
you know. And also it's beautiful, it's cute, it smells good,
It's so pretty.
it's gorgeous.
The moss was like a perfect touch to the boxes, too.
Yeah.
She put that moss in there.
Yeah, well, shout out to Christine Cruz, because I bought something from her one time and she had a bunch of moss in it. I was like, I'm obsessed with this. So, like, I got my own version and did my own thing about that, but I was very much so inspired by her. She's, like, really awesome and, like, super creative and dope. But, yeah, like, so that's where that came from, because I never seen nothing like that. I always thought, like, that could, like, mold or something. I didn't know, like, that could be a thing.
It looks really pretty, though, in the box.
It's gorgeous. It's like you open up into like the forest. You're just in the woods, right in the box.
Exactly.
And just like looking at how far you come in the aspect of like knowing where to source these things, knowing when to get them. Like you're queen of that stuff, knowing how to formulate certain things, what's gonna harden something, what's gonna smell a certain way. Like we have been doing this and actively doing this work for so long. Like certain things come second nature to us, and that did not come second nature to us automatically.
Yeah.
That's something we had to work to learn, to research, to make mistakes, to fail.
Oh, we made
Plenty.
we made so many mistakes, especially in the soap making process. Like, wow. I remember we would make whole batches and they would just be completely like you can't sell these. But no, we got it.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing to be able to look back. So I thank you for coming here and, sharing some memories and looking back at some processes. It's I encourage anyone who's listening to take a moment to really reflect on things in your life and, look at how far you've come. If you didn't hear it from anybody else, like, you have such a beautiful reason to be proud of yourself for all of the things that you've done and achieved. And even if that doesn't look exactly the way you wanted it to, you made different decisions. And even if you're not at the place that you want to be, you can still choose to learn. No matter what you do, like, you could just fuck up for like a few years. You could fuck up for a few months, few days, and like if you take that and you decide in a moment, like, I'm going to take that as experience of what I don't want to do anymore, and you shift, you can apply that to the greatest glow up of your life. And it's just a matter of choosing. Because, like, once again, if we hold that shame, we just keep doing the same things over and over and over again. We continue to still doing those shameful actions because we don't feel like we have a safe space to unpack it. So I just want to encourage anybody, because, I just like to acknowledge the duality, because, I'm sure there's people that are listening to us and they're like, they feel it. They're like, yeah, I'm on this precipice. I'm looking back at all these amazing things. But then there's some people that are looking back and they're like, fuck, I'm really ashamed of some shit. Like, what do I have to be proud of? Experience. What you have to be proud of is you have the ability, if you're alive and you're breathing, you have the ability to shift and have awareness. You should be proud of your awareness. You might have started off doing something out of survival, and now you end off like closing that chapter with awareness.
Yeah.
So, I just like to always make space for that, because you just never know when someone's going to listen to something and what they need to hear. And I've been at both of those and everything in between. So I don't like to just be like, oh, we're all looking back at everything great. Like, nah, we're looking back at shitty things too.
There was a lot.
It's a part of it.
Yeah.
It's a part of it. There's so many other things that we experienced. So many other thresholds that we didn't get the chance to get into. And maybe we weren't supposed to, but we know. And at the end of the day, we're not sitting here trying to be perfect. It's all a part of the journey.
Yeah.
And failing is a huge part of that.
It's the hardest part.
It can.
I mean, for me, it
definitely
always
can
was.
be.
I would always wanted to be great at it the second I started it.
Mhm.
Like, just even felting.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to make something. I'm like, why is this not working? now what am I in 6 years now? Felting, like, master.
I think
Made- made an
insane.
English
You're out of
bull-
control.
Made an English bulldog out of a car air freshener.
Wild.
I
Like
wish
the
I could do more of
details.
those.
The
Yeah.
details that you put on these car fresheners.
My son
are
tried
out
to
of
sleep
control.
with that dog like 3 times, and I'm like, no, it's work. But still, like, that in itself, and that's, everyone wants instant gratification. You're not
Yeah.
gonna get that,
Yeah.
especially with soap making. It's like such a patience. Like, you have
Yeah.
to learn patience.
Yeah. And you have to
You
be
can't
on
try the
point.
soap for weeks. It's like you can't even cut that for like 2 days. You're not gonna see what it looks like. You're just gonna pour it and you're gonna walk away.
Yeah. I feel like I've learned so much about myself in the moments of making
Yeah.
soap.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I make soap the same way I cook. And it comes out good. It comes out great. Comes out smelling nice or whatever the case is. But the process of it is fucking chaotic.
Yeah.
Fucking chaotic. Like, and spastic, So I don't like to, people watch me cook. I'm like, just be there. Just trust. Just get the fuck out of this kitchen right now. Like, just trust that it's going to come out the way it needs to be. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for finally having me.
Yes.
This is great.
That's awesome. And before we completely conclude, if there's anything else that you want to say or mention, you have the space to,
No,
And-
I think I got everything. I mean, the Metuchen's market, I would love to see extra people there.
Word.
Metuchen?
Yeah, I said word. Yeah.
Oh, word.
Mhm.
So we're there this weekend, and then we're there. Our last day is November 11th, which I'm hoping for a lot of gift sets and stuff.
Yeah.
But everything will be on the website too. But
Yeah.
still, like, the
Well,
town,
stay tuned.
it's-
Tap in
yeah.
with Ava Quinn's AvaQuinns on Instagram, and if you're looking online to tap in with her website, it's www.avaquinns.com. And yeah, usually I have to ask people. I don't have to do that with you. I could just say it for you.
Yeah.
Like, you just sit
Thanks.
back. Yeah, no problem.
I'm cool.
And
I get to relax.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you deserve to, know,
Yeah.
you deserve to. Always doing all the things for everybody. That's how we have to, everybody has to get the opportunity to scratch each other's back, and be able to bring reciprocal energy, And I get to make you tea today.
Mm-hmm.
You always make me matcha.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's good to, also give that in return. And yeah, how I want to conclude this episode is I want to pull a card.
Of course.
And
Ashley brings cards everywhere. And then we were at the market 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Did you bring your cards?" You're like, "Yeah."
I knew it. I knew it. And it's funny because I don't bring them to the
You
market.
haven't been bringing them.
I haven't
but
been
then-
bringing them around. Like,
yeah.
I always have them. You're right. I always have
Mhm.
them with me, but they might not be physically on me. They might be in the car. They might be
Yeah, yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
just around, but like,
There was some
that
creepy
day.
times. Remember that last year, you pulled the card because I found the picture of my aunt who passed away.
there was like you pulled the card and fell into that, and then your
Yeah.
aunt's picture came out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
that's
I'm
what
like-
happened.
It was like something
It was
like
some
that.
craziness.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
she had her cards.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easier to just blame them on the cards.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's just
definitely.
yeah, for sure. For sure. We'll use cards responsibly, people. That's all. That's all. But yeah. So I want to take a moment to pull one of these cards in regards to, anyone who's listening to this who is open to receiving a message here and now. What is it that, we need to hear at this moment, at this precipice, at whatever 99 looks for you guys, and looks for me, looks for all of us. I just pray in a good way to connect with whatever is meant to be said in a good way like that, and to the greater good of everyone. What is it that we need? Out your head and in your body.
That's a good one for today.
Out your head and in your body. I fell off a ladder right before I made this card. Like from the top.
Yeah, no.
And that shit was crazy. Like, I could have died. But here I am, you know? So I'm grateful. And I'm just going to read what I wrote about it. Just out your head and in your body. Just what I said. So, yeah. Go wiggle, dance, work out, shake it out, give yourself a foot massage, and create a safe space for you to exist in your body. You've been in your head too much, and I'm kicking you out. Don't do like me. Don't fall off a ladder. You know what I mean? Just listen to it. Just heed the message.
How did you fall off a ladder? Did you miss the step?
No. Oh. So it was one of those ladders that are like this, but that like can kick open.
Yeah.
Right? I always check it, but because I was doing 7 things at once.
I know that very
well. So it's important for you to listen to. That's all. So I was just like, all right, like I was going up, I was putting everything up in the spa, like in the spa that I was renting, and I went to go put, like, funny enough, I was hanging a Libra scale that I had gotten from, it was like a hanging old brass scale, and I was like, this is gorgeous, balanced, love this, duality, holistics, makes sense. So I'm like, I want to put it on the ceiling, so I have this double-sided tape, thick thing, I'm like pushing it on the ceiling. Literally, I said something. I was talking to somebody. I was talking to one of my friends. I was putting it up, and I was doing something else at the same time. And the ladder kicked open, right? So I was at the top, which you're not even supposed to be on.
No.
So I'm at the absolute top. It's like this. Had to be like 7-foot ladder, 6-foot ladder. It had to be 7 foot because it was. Maybe 6 foot. I don't know. Either. Maybe 6.5. I don't know anymore. Either way, let's call it that. It was fucking high, right? And I'm standing on that part. So I dropped like 6 foot, 7 foot straight down. Like, I could have broken anything. Yeah. I could have cracked my head on something.
You didn't fall, like it slid down.
Nah, it just popped. It popped, and I was standing. Oh. So I just went straight down, and I landed on top of the ladder.
That's okay, but
so
on your feet?
No.
Oh no!
I landed straight on my ass, and I'm like so grateful that that's the way I broke my fall, because like I don't have broken bones, and I landed on top of the fucking ladder, and I had a crazy bruise, like a bruise wild, like bruises like from here to here, And I knew, it's serious if I don't say anything. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm dead quiet, because I usually laugh when I get hurt. So if I'm dead quiet, I'm like contemplating if I'm alive or if I broke anything or like that's usually what happens. So yeah, so then that happened, and everyone ran in and checked on me, and I just I was just in shock. I was just like, and once I like realized like okay I could stand. I ended up cleaning everything in the house. I cleansed myself. I got out my head and into my body, and I just listened. I spiritually cleaned that room. And before I left, because I stayed there until like 2:00 in the morning that night, cleaning, literally like cleaned everything. I was like everything, in every way. I just prayed right where I felt, because I felt my spirit leave my body. Like I felt myself eject out and then slap back in. And I just like called my spirit back from that moment, because when we have traumas like that, when people go into like car accidents or these different things, like you have to call your spirit back, because it could, like a fragment could like jump out. And yeah, so that's how that happened. And so don't do like me, you know what I mean? Do better than me, please. And be mindful and get out of your head and into your body. I was trying to do too many things at once. I wasn't physically aware of myself. And what a fucking wake up call, that was. So, yeah, so that's how I made this card. So with that being said, anybody who's listening to this, like, there's something that you want to do. There's something that you need to get out of your body. This is a topic that has been coming up in the past 24 hours. My belief, I'm not saying anything definitively. Do your own research. But if you're listening, then you're listening for a reason, right? When you have these different emotions of like overthinking or being stuck in a thought loop, or like different traumas that happen. Like, you have to make sure that you have an outlet to get something out of your body, and not just like a creative one, like in like, okay, like creating. Like, you need to have a sacred way to destroy. What does that mean? Like punching a punching bag, like ripping up a piece of paper, like moving around, stretching, doing things like that. You have to oil your machine, and trauma sits and manifests in different pockets of our body, and if we don't find a way to release it, it could manifest to illness. And I think that that's really important to whoever is listening, to just make sure that they are getting out of their head and into their body, listening to their heart. Not in like the cliche, like, well, listen to your heart. Like no, like just like fucking like get out your head, stop overthinking everything, and find different ways to be in your body again. And whatever that looks like, that could look like massaging your feet, that could look like just like tapping your body, stretching, working out, whatever. You have to figure it out. I can't do it for you, So that's what I got for y'all. Thank you so much for listening, for tuning in. This is the 99th episode of Duality. I can't promise you when the 100th one is coming out, because I'm still figuring out everything for it, but trust and believe that it's going to be really amazing as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, check out the moon box that Ava and I co-created, and
it's under Autumn Moon on the website.
Word. Yes, on both of our websites. Oh, there is one more thing that I didn't want to mention. This rug right here, if you don't mind showing them.
I was
right?
waiting.
So these are called mug rugs, and it's made from one of the vendors at Metuchen. Forgive me, I'm not remembering what your name is or your business is, but thank you so much for making this. The reason why I bought it at the time that I bought it was because I was just like, oh, like I looked at the pattern. And if you look at the one that Ava has, like it looks like the same pattern, but it's slightly different. I was like, oh, like, did you use the different pattern? Like I'm like, is it inverse each other? And she said, no, it's the same pattern, just different.
Yep.
Yarn. I couldn't think of the word. Yeah. She said it's the same pattern, just different yarn. And I was like, yo, that's fucking prophetic. So
we were like so obsessed with that.
I was like, I'm buying it.
She came back to the table. She's like, yo, I had to get these.
I'm like, shit just got really fucking deep.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the woman who was like, oh,
she was
she's like, yeah,
cool,
we're
buying too.
Yeah, okay. All right, $20. And like for me, I was like, I was meant to buy these rugs. Because for real, like we all go through, a lot of us have similar patterns. We just have different yarn, so it looks different. So take that with you. And I also want to say shout out to Staten Island Arts. This is our last funded grant for now, gonna say it like that. And for the DCLA Premier Grant. And thank you guys so much for supporting this podcast and for keeping it going and for bringing a whole new light to it where I could help support other creatives in the community in a good way like that, because it's just so beautiful. And I just hope that anybody who, especially in the creative community, who has these outlets and feel super resonant for it to find the funding that they need and that they deserve, because it really is such an incredible thing. And thank you guys so much. And thank you all for listening. And we'll see you next time.